Hey guys, so today I will be showing you how I make my homemade oxtail pho recipe. So first what I do is boil a big pot of water on high heat. Then I use beef bones and oxtail that I got from my local Asian market and boiled it to help clean the meat/bones. It's also meant to flavor the soup. So after boiling the meat for a bit, you'll notice this gunk swimming on the surface. What people usually do is throw out that water, wash the meat, and boil a new pot. But the other option, which I'm doing, is to filter it out. This part is time consuming, but I really don't mind it. Regardless, later on, once the soup is almost done, you will eventually filter it out more to make it a clean broth. Once I got the bigger chunks out, I used this filter to get all the little chunks. Wish I had a smaller filter, but I mean, hey, I made it work. So after scooping out as much as I can, this is what it's starting to look like. While the soup is continuing to boil, we will start on the aromatics. So I took 2 onions, cut them in half, and 1 ginger, cut it in half, and I used the open flame to give it a char. This is what opens up the flavors. Once you got a pretty good char, just throw them in the soup. Alright, now time for the holy grail. Without these type of seasonings, you have no pho. So what I use is 6-star anise, about a little more than a tablespoon of coriander, a tablespoon of cloves, and 1 cinnamon stick. Make sure your pan is on high heat and just let all the flavors come to life. And also make sure to constantly move it around the pan because it will burn. Once it's done, you could put the aromatics in a cheesecloth or some type of tea bag to keep it all together. Or you can do what I do and just throw it in the pot. Like I said, we will be filtering out the soup later on anyways, but if you're trying to keep the broth as clean as possible, then definitely use some type of filter. Next, I put 2 clumps of rock sugar and then fish sauce to start flavoring up the soup. I put about 6 tablespoons of fish sauce, but later on, after we filter everything out, you can adjust the flavor to your liking. I also added just a bit of salt, then stirred it and let it boil for about 3 hours. After 3 hours, this is what it's looking like. What I'm pointing at is the fat from the meat. So next what I do is try and scoop as much fat as I can possibly get. After scooping up the fat, I added more water since a lot of it evaporated in the boiling process. I didn't show me putting all the water in there, but I believe I added about almost a cup and a half. After about 5 hours in, I started taking the meat out, and this is where it got my mouth watering. Look how fall off the bone tender it got. I had to show you guys a little food porn right there, but anyways, this is what the broth is looking like right after all the meat is taken out. So this is what I was talking about earlier when I said that we will be filtering out the broth to get all that excess stuff off to make it that beautiful clear pho broth. I don't know about you, but this looks unprofessional, but hey, I made it work, so don't judge me. Once you're done, put it back in the pot and put it on medium-low heat. This is where you can taste and adjust to your liking if you need to add more fish sauce, water, rock sugar, etc. While waiting on that, I started cutting up the veggies for the toppings for the pho. You don't have to do this, but I put the onions in a bowl with water and ice to take that harsh taste out. It's personal preference. So next is the noodles. I got this from my local Asian store. What you do is have a pot of boiling water, submerge the noodles for about 10 to 15 seconds, and they are all done. When giving noodles to my daughter, I always make sure to cut the noodles just because it can be a choking hazard for babies. So this part is when you dress up your pho however you want. And don't get intimidated by the thin raw meat because once you put the boiling hot broth in your bowl, it will basically cook the meat. And there you have it. This is how I make my homemade pho. It's easy yet time consuming, but it's definitely worth it. Now that I finally got done with this pho after hours and hours and hours, I know baby, I know, we're all hungry. It is finally time to eat. So first things first, I guess in Vietnamese tradition, you have to taste the broth first before you put any type of seasonings or whatever in it.
Nigga, just win.
Is it good? Okay.
Saray approves.
Saray approves. Dada?
Well, I approve. Man, this is way better than the fucking than the restaurants. The broth.
My goodness.
The oxtail. Using that nice, like, good smoky taste of the broth. It's so good.
Let's fall off the bone.
Is it falling off the bone?
So now that I finally took my broth, I'm gonna dress it up how I want it. Just gonna put some poison.
I like digging in a little bit first. Dress as I go. You dig?
Is it good, baby?
She hasn't stopped yet.
I just bought some new sriracha. We don't mess with bean sprouts. That's why you don't see them here.
It's a waste of space.
I don't know why, but I get so happy when Saray approves. Good, baby? I'm glad you like Mama cooking. Ooh.
Ooh, that other meat's good too. So good.
Yo, if you dress it up too.
It's a wrap. I'm so blessed to have a fiance who's so creative. Willing to put in all this work. Hours and hours of work for some pho.
Worth it.
I don't go near. I don't go.
Right?
If you don't do that, then I guess I'll go.
Guess you'll go. What do you mean, girl?
Fire. This pho is fire.
No words.
Saying less.
Guys, this oxtail fall off the bone. You're like melting your mouth.
Literally every single bite I take into it, just fall right on my freaking spoon. It's so awesome.
It's amazing. You didn't even dress it up yet, huh?
It's so good.
I highly recommend you guys try this recipe. It is so good.
Definitely try it.
And it's actually cheap to make pho at home. Just depending. I mean, you can add like whatever meats you want.
True.
You know what I mean? But other
That
than
broth
that,
will last you for a while. You can just keep on.
you can make a big old pot of this soup and it can last you within like days.
Especially if you plan to like if the whole family's like, yo, let's do pho. Like definitely before buying, consider like, all right, you know what, let me actually make it.
And it's actually really easy. It's just so time consuming because you gotta wait hours
And the longer you wait, the more the broth is gonna be more flavorful.
That's good.
Oh my goodness, you finished all the broth? You said you forgot some of your noodles. I'm so happy she loves my pho. It good?
My head's been down the whole time.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoy my video. We're gonna go ahead and smash this soup and get some seconds. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time. This is not HOB. This is not House Ablation. Relax.
Thank you for rocking with Sarah's mommy time.
Mama time.
Mama time.
Obviously, he's not a subscriber. All right, guys.
I do. I do.
Say bye.
Bye.